Talking college sports in the Deep South where college football is king. We would like to think the SEC is the best conference in college football. If the NFL draft was any indication, that could be the case. 64 players drafted out of the SEC, including 6 from Auburn. We also want to think that the SEC West is one of the better sub-conferences in college football, arguably some of the better rivalries in the nation. The fan bases are absolutely fanatical about their team, as is the SEC East, but the SEC West, I believe, just gets a little bit more intense. Maybe my opinion is somewhat biased. It probably is. Once again, it's K-Stu to go for Vernon Speaks Sports. We're talking Auburn football. Of course, we want to congratulate all of the former Auburn football players who were drafted, including, in my opinion, one of what could be a huge draft pick long term is Jarrett Stidham, with the possibility of succeeding Tom Brady as quarterback. Jarrett Stidham, oddly enough, as far as picks in the draft, Jarrett Stidham is the highest draftee in the quarterback rotation currently for the New England Patriots. We'll see how that develops. We're talking Auburn running backs. Let's go ahead and get the comment section active. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. You just click the bell. And also, if you want constant notifications, you will click the bell twice, and it will notify you every time I come on to talk about Auburn football like we always do. Anyway, we look at the running back situation at Auburn. I really believe, based on, the history, the past, recent past anyway, Auburn kind of got in a little bit of trouble with lack of running back depth. I will go ahead and go out on a limb and say after 2014, the running back depth started to become a problem. You look at also, banking on junior college transfers such as Javon Robinson, guys of that nature, depth became an issue. You even had a situation where Cameron Petway, who was recruited as a fullback, wound up converting over to running halfback once Kerryon Johnson, who battled injuries throughout his career, was hurt. Turned out pretty good. He was the SEC's leading rusher, but went down with an injury in the Vanderbilt game and just wasn't the same since. And, it just started that particular situation. When you think about the depth of the running back, given the situation that Auburn has now, what could the outcome have been if, Cameron Petway goes down with that injury against Vanderbilt? Basically no one else really to call upon, as Kerryon Johnson was still nursing an injury. Then you look at 2017, Kerryon Johnson, one of the hottest running backs in the country, goes down with an injury basically against Alabama. And for whatever reason, there were some guys that could have been viable options, but for whatever reason, Auburn decides to continue to stick with Kerryon Johnson, although obviously injured, and pretty much surrendering the 2017 SEC championship game because of lack of adjustments made. Now, that's easy to say on the outside looking in. You just never know what the coaching staff, see. They analyze these players on a daily basis. So you just never know what the full story was. Now, fast forward to 2019, Auburn is probably in one of the more desirable situations than it has been in a while when you talk about running backs. Pretty much have the services of about 4 or 5 guys that could really seriously make some impact this season. Now, look at guys like, Boobie Whitlow, DJ Williams, who came along late, the former Appalachian State commit, obviously flipped to Auburn as his stock began to grow his senior year. And, he had a very, very promising showing in the spring and showed the characteristics of, the type of running back that Gus Malzahn tends to want in his system. Relatively short, stocky, very, fast, very, very durable. I can see durability out of DJ Williams. Boobie Whitlow, on the other hand, appears to have improved his skill set as a running back. We looked last year, a lot of fundamentals and techniques were just not there. Of course, this is not a position that Boobie Whitlow played in high school. He actually played quarterback, was accustomed to running the football, but not in the tailback role. Also, you look at Sean Shivers, who's somewhat of a change of pace kind of back. He's extremely fast. Once he gets into the open field, there are not too many people. Probably only Anthony Schwartz, who is a receiver, will catch him. Sean Shivers is one of the fastest guys in the country and very, very agile with the football. Had a pretty decent showing on last year. Now, when we look at the running back position and how this probably will work, I always refer back to the 2013 season for the Auburn Tigers when, you had multiple guys that touched the football in a running capacity. Now, that year, Nick Marshall was over 1,000 yards rushing. Also, Trey Mason with about 1,800 yards running. Then it started to kind of taper off with Cameron Artis-Payne with 610 yards. And Corey Grant with 600 yards as well. Now, this year, when I look at the Auburn Tigers, I don't see a high likelihood that the quarterback will actually have to or will have 1,000 yards. I really don't see it because, for one, I think the quarterback will have a much better, much more talented skill set as it relates to throwing the football versus Nick Marshall back in 2013. Now, mind you, Nick Marshall's passing dramatically improved. That's why the one of the reasons why Nick Marshall's rushing yards went down, and that's actually kind of a good thing. You don't want your quarterback having to do too much running. Now, we do understand with the Gus Malzahn run offense that the quarterback is going to run the ball, but we, just don't want him running as much. So it's very doubtful, in my opinion, that the quarterback will have 1,000 yards running this year. But when we look at it, it should kind of go something like this. I believe that Boobie Whitlow will be the 1,000-yard rusher this year for sure. Now, there could possibly be another one, especially when you look at how the 2013 season went with Cameron Artis-Payne with 610 yards and Corey Grant with 600 as well. This really could be a situation where you have at least two running backs that have 1,000 yards this year. I'm banking on either it being Boobie Whitlow and DJ Williams. I can see DJ Williams with his durability with 1,000 yards. I just don't think with Sean Shivers, for example, of course, yes, he should touch the ball some, but I think it's going to be a role kind of like what Corey Grant did for 2013. I think it's going to be he's going to play a huge role, and he's going to keep defenses off balance. But as far as being the feature back, just being honest, I don't think Sean Shivers will be the feature back, but he will receive some significant touches this year. Also, you have you have Cam Martin, who, in my opinion, can play somewhat the role that Cameron Artis-Payne played for Auburn, kind of a change of pace kind of back. Give Boobie Whitlow a little bit of rest, but also still effective nonetheless. He's a guy that can get it done, not necessarily the home run hitter, which he can take it to the house. He's a very fast running back, but he's just, in my opinion, more so like Cameron Artis-Payne, not necessarily the most flashiest running back, but can obviously get the job done. I just don't see Cam Martin being a feature back, but definitely getting some touches this year as well. So when we talk about how the running back situation would look for Auburn, a very, very good situation to be in. Very good situation to be in. I look also coming this fall is Mark Anthony Richards. Showed a lot of great skill set in his high school film. They want to compare him somewhat to Kerryon Johnson. That's yet to be seen. Kerryon Johnson is a unique running back with a very, very unique style of play, so we'll see how that develops as well. Once again, it's Casey the GOAT for Vernon Speak Sports. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel by clicking the bell out on top of right on the side of the name. Sorry about that. Click it twice if you want to receive constant notifications. War Eagle.